Good evening, race fans. Welcome to the CORE Racing Network. Tonight, we got second race of the playoffs here for the CORE Xfinity Series. If it's anything like last week, it is going to be a fun one. Out there in the desert of Phoenix was the opener last week, and it put on a heck of a show and a heck of a an ending. It got us Craig Janczak getting the first win for the playoffs, and locking himself in, providing he runs all the playoff races. If he runs all 4 races, no matter what happens, he is locked in with his win. So, I mean, certainly the catbird seat to start the thing off, but a lot of other drivers doing very, very well, even in the silver and the bronze division, and kind of really flipping the standings over in all 3. But we'll take a look at that in a second. But we are here at the beautiful Daytona International Speedway, 2.5 miles of high speed, flat to the floor. Hold on tight, and hopefully you don't get taken out in the big one here and really hurt your playoff chances, especially if you had a rough race last week. These drivers all do have one drop race in these 4 races here for the playoffs. But if you use it kind of last week, you can't use it this week. You have to put in 3 great races. Carline, we're joined in the booth by Jimmy Cover. Jimmy, to me, this is kind of the wild card here for the playoff round, because it's Daytona, anything can happen.
Yeah, I mean, this is a track that a lot of drivers like to come to. It's a lot of fun. It's, it's really fast. It's really close. The draft is amazing. It's a lot of things that drivers like, but the one thing that they don't like and can happen is one small mistake by one driver can take out the whole field. And especially up front, as hard as some of those leaders are running. Also, you can go from the back to the front in a matter of a couple laps. So anybody, as long as they're on the lead lap, can win this race. Yeah, I mean,
there's kind of 3 strategies that we always talk about. There's get to the front and stay at the front no matter what. There's pull down to the inside of the back stretch there, drop to the back, and just kind of hang on to the tail end of the draft, or the insane route, and that is just be right in the mix, right in the middle of all the chaos. And I don't understand those kind of people. I think they need to maybe sit down with a therapist and understand why they like to be there. But to each his own, I guess. But we'll take a look at the playoff standings after last week, and as we said, it certainly got shaken up here a little bit. Craig Janczak now ahead by 27 points, at least on the cut line there in the gold. Elwood still in good shape as well. And then Therrien has now jumped up to the top. Daniel Wiles, kind of the big hurt last week. It just did not have anything go his way out there in Phoenix. And now he finds himself 32 points behind. And I mean, again, it's a drop race, so he can use that drop race there, but he's going to have 3 good races, or maybe throw in a win and get himself in that way. Silver division, that's where we've seen a big shakeup as well. Stoneman came in as the points leader by 5, but now he is below the bubble, and it is Foster, Collins, and Tilford on top. In the bronze division, Matt Crockett, Joe Thomas, both coming away with a top 10 last week, which is huge for bronze division drivers. And you see the points gap right now, 26 and 24 points ahead of the bubble. Very, very nice start to the playoffs for both of them. Jon Crain above the cut line by 4. So it was certainly fun out there, but I mean, anything can happen here at Daytona, and it could even be a bronze division driver locking it in here. Now we do have 4 playoff races, so if there was a situation where 4 different gold drivers win the 4 races, all 4 of them would be locked in. So it wouldn't just be the top 3; it would be all 4. So I guess this is kind of the only chance is if another gold driver wins here tonight, but I wouldn't be surprised if we see a silver or a bronze kind of stick their nose in there.
Yeah, I mean, I talked about it earlier, anybody has that opportunity to win here. The big one can happen off the last and final turn coming down to the line. I mean, we've seen some crazy finishes here at Daytona, and not only with CORE, but any other league that we broadcast here on CRN. So, I mean, it's just time after time after time. The races can either be super long with some cautions, or they can be just tight-knit the whole way around. But that ending, few laps, they really, really do push these cars. And I guess the one big thing, Carl, and some people don't think about too much, is if you hold the throttle down in the corners, the car will tend to push up. And so if somebody is side drafting early, so the tendency is to get, door bang somebody at 200 miles an hour in a corner is there. So we'll see how patient these drivers can be, as they do have 55 laps here tonight at Daytona, and that's going to be either a very short time or a very long time here. I mean, I guess we're under time constraints of an hour and 30 minutes, but either way, I mean, we want to see the best clean racing as possible. We'll see if we can reach to that point where they have to come in and make those green flag pit stops. Another huge feat here at Daytona, where they all want to come down at the same time. They want to be with their partners or with whoever they're running with to stay within a draft, because if you're by yourself, you're going backwards.
Well, really, it's kind of two different races in one here. It's an endurance race where all you're looking to do is get to really probably about lap 53. I mean, that's kind of when you need to be in that right spot, in the right position to make your final push, your final run. Anything before that is just setting yourself up into where you want to be. If that's at the front, if that's maybe 10th place on the outside, wherever you feel comfortable that you can make that move. But survive, get to lap 53, and then you have your short little sprint race of, just basically a green-white checkered at that point. Well, we are all done with qualifying, and these drivers are heading out onto the track, as you see there. So, Jimmy, why don't you go ahead and give us a rundown of tonight's order?
Yeah, go ahead and get a rundown on tonight's order, and the order will be Kelly Pointer on the pole with the Craig Janczak on the outside, then Eric Andrews, one of our distinguished CORE members, showing his face here tonight, the number 9. And then we have Alan Elwood, Niiko Garcia, Matt Crockett, Joe Sullivan, Joe Thomas, Lewis Arduna, Shayne Therrien, AJ Roderick, Kaleb Collins, Jack Stoneman, Kevin West, Daniel Wiles, Josh Van Westen, Tyler Bramble, Dan Phelps, Bryce Rayner, Kevin Foster, Dave Tilford, Kenny Hines, Casey Phelps, Jon Crain, and Jeremy Gainey. And just looking at the list of names, there's some big names towards the middle, towards the back of the pack, whether they decided to get in there and get that time in to see if they can race from the get-go, or if they're going to be a little more cautious. And I can tell, just from some of the names towards, a little bit farther in the back, your Kevin Foster, your Jon Crain, and even Dave Tilford, I think they're looking to be a little cautious here from the rip.
Yeah, one thing that is certainly interesting is, we've got 3 Bronze Division drivers up there in the top 10, and they are certainly they got the 1 lap speed, but do they have the survival? That's really what it comes down to at the end of the night, is just survive, get to the end, and get yourself in that position. Well, we're about to find out. As Jimmy said, 55 laps on tap here tonight. Who are your friends? I know it's the playoffs. I know everything is on the line here. I know you want to try and get the win. I know you need the good finishes. But you need friends out there too. You cannot do this alone here at Daytona. This is all about patience and finding your way. We are racing at Daytona.
Got a green flag in the air as the 97 of Craig Janczak down to the inside there, trying to take the lead. One of these places that you don't want to get a huge jump, or you'll just get ran over like a freight train, but get Kelly Pointer on the outside leading the way there with Eric Andrews in that Ghostbusters machine pushing around. So we're going to see a lot of 2-wide racing, and look to see these drivers back and forth, and we'll be looking throughout the field to see who's going to make the big move, who's going to send it 3-wide, who's going to duck out of the way. So we'll keep you as informed as possible. We got if you want to know who your favorite driver is, let us know in the chat, and we'll try to lean in on them and see how they're doing here throughout tonight. But right now it is Craig Janczak coming off of turn number 4, heading down the front stretch.
Everything nice and cordial so far. Everybody just still 2x2, just hanging out. And in my opinion, the way it should be here early on in the race, you need to click those laps off, and really it's going to get shaken up on that first pit stop. It always does. Of course, if you have a yellow before that, it will. But when you have those green flag pit stops, you need to come in with others, because you cannot come back out without a draft. But more often than not, you're not just coming in with one other. You're coming in, like Jimmy said, you're coming in with 5, 6, 7, maybe 10 other guys coming into the pit lane all together. And it files down. You can get it maybe 3 wide into pit lane, but you got to be careful. And we've seen it before where 2, 3, 4 guys get spun out, sent in the grass, have unsafe entries, anything, and one little penalty here, if it stays green, you're toast.
A little bit of 3 wide action back there by this number 72 of Kaleb Collins, trying to make that outside work, and probably makes the 73 a little bit uncomfortable being in the middle there as it back and forth. You see the 76 adjust out and run up top, maybe catch the bumper of the 72 as well. So looking to go 3 wide here at Daytona as they head down the backstretch.
And you can certainly do that. I mean, you see there's technically, I mean, there's enough room for 4 wide. I wouldn't ever dare think about that. But, I mean, you can go 3 wide. You see them dance around a little bit at the front there. Looks like the 9 of Aaron Andrews finally back out in action here with the Ghostbuster number 9 there. We've got a wreck at the front of the field. And this is definitely taking quite a bit of drivers.
A big hit by a few drivers. You see the 9 and the 17 just going to bring it down pit road. Probably just, maybe they got meatballs already. Just figured bring them in, get that fast repair, take the penalty, go to the back of the pack for, unsafe entry or illegal entry or whatever you want to call it. But, yeah, that was a big one, Carl, as you debunked that one.
Yeah, we'll take a look at it here one more time. It definitely happened towards the front of the field. Oh, netcode right there. I seen the little wobble from the 97 from netcode in the 75. It sends Janczak to the side. 9 getting involved, the 76, the 73, the 72. I think it's probably a shorter list of who didn't get involved, but you see a lot of drivers doing a good job taking evasive action down towards the bottom. But there's quite a few layoff drivers getting involved in this one for sure. Just take a look. Pointer already destroyed. You see the 60 there of Hines, or I'm sorry, that's the 90 there of Reiner trying to get around by. He gets tagged in it. This was a bit of a rough one here coming off of there. A lot of cars involved, a lot of damage that needs to be repaired. And these guys do have that fast repair, Jimmy, but man, lap 3 is not when you want to be taking it right away.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's not when you want to take it. And you can see a lot of the drivers just coming down to hop off the tank, possibly take, 2 sets, like a set of tires or something. I doubt this early with anything with tires. Those tires aren't too much of a concern. Oh, somebody missed their box down there. They're going to just fill up with fuel and get back out there. But yeah, the guys that have to go in there and actually take a fast repair, I mean, you're in the back or you're in the, in the middle there and you're trying to be safe and just, it just kind of stirs the pot a little bit here this early. So I got to be super cautious. You might see maybe some of those drivers going laying back and going single file and grouping up with each other. So we'll see how these drivers contend with the early damages with no more mulligans left. But it looks like Luis Orduña, number 73, will stay out with the Joseph Thomas and Jeremy Gainey. So those will be your first 3 up there. And, Jeremy Gainey obviously starting in the back. That's going to put him up to P3.
Yeah, I mean, there's quite a few tracks that you can get a wreck in on lap number 3 as long as you're not smoking. If the car is damaged up a little bit, maybe you decide to still save that fast repair, just come in and get as much repaired as possible. And here at Daytona, it's a long pace lap here under caution, so you have a chance to get a good amount of damage repaired. But I mean, realistically, you got to make sure that that thing is almost spotless coming back out there, because if you lose the draft at any point and this thing goes green, you're going to be just kicking yourself for not taking that fast repair and using it up. Now, again, you take that one, you get involved in one of the wreck, your night could be over right away. So it's sketchy. It's tough. If you have, maybe 30 seconds worth of damage, sure, maybe take the chance and just do the regular repairs, but you don't really know until you pull into that pit box. If you pull in there, you think, okay, maybe the damage isn't that bad, and all of a sudden it's 3 minutes required. Well, you're sitting there for 3 minutes. You can't just check that fast repair. You got to wait there for that required to get done, and it's a tough situation. I wish there was something that could kind of tell you beforehand, or just allow you to use that fast repair after you stop.
It's one of those things I don't like to have mine checked. So a lot of times, you come in, if you just took a little bump or whatever, you're not burning it up, and that's for our, been running a lot of road races lately, and sometimes, you got your elbows out and take a little dent to the fender or something like that, and it's not going to kill your race right away. So a lot of times I just leave it there, leave it unchecked unless I know I've taken some big damage. But if you got some hotkeys, you can set that to switch that real quick for yourself. But yeah, in other words, trying to get to that black box can be cumbersome. So you just got to be careful, especially if you have it on auto check. I'm going through the field care, Carl, and I don't see John Van Weston still in the pits. I'm not seeing anybody with any major damage, so it looks like anybody that had major damage has gotten fixed with their fast repairs. Actually, I see Joe Sullivan's got some damage on his car still. That settles at 39.
It didn't look too terrible for Sullivan. Van Weston now back out on the track, and Bramble's going to be joining right behind. He's going to try to catch up to the field. Might get a little bit of a move on here as the field is now going through turn 3 right now, but your top 10 to restart this thing is going to be Luis Orduna, Joe Thomas, Jeremy Gainey, Alan Elwood, Niiko Garcia for the top 5, Matt Crockett, Kevin West, Shayne Therrien, AJ Roderick, and Jack Stoneman for the top 10. So we've got more non-gold drivers than gold drivers in the top 10 right now. We got 3 bronze, a couple rookies up there. You got the silver of Jack Stoneman right there in 10th as well. So this is definitely going to get interesting here as we are back to green flag racing here at Daytona. Bit of a getaway here on the inside from both our Orduna and Gainey. And like you said, Jimmy, you don't really necessarily want to get a good jump here because these guys may get eaten up here pretty quick.
Yeah, if they get enough drivers to fall in single file, they'll be okay, Carl, and they'll be able to be steady and just kind of hold their own. Obviously, the outside is going to draft, you're going to get a good run on them, and you'll probably see a lead swap here early on as they bounce around just a little bit more than I would be concerned with doing. But right now, they are still battling like it's the last lap, and a lot of drivers like to drive that way. I mean, it's just the competitiveness of the drivers so far this season, and Netco played a huge part, I think, in that last one, and just kind of a big pile up and racing incident. So we'll see if they think about that 3 wide again here when it comes to getting back up the front. But I see a little bit of action between the 97 and the 12.
How about the restart there from the Elwood Designs team? We got a 4-man tandem went straight to the front. Niiko Garcia dropped down to the bottom, but you still got Elwood, Therrien, and Roderick all on the outside lined up. And now Elwood's going to drop down to the bottom and give Therrien a little bit of a run towards the front. But they have made their way up into 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. Jimmy, I think that's pretty good.
I mean, you got teammates, that's where you want them to be. You'll probably just keep shifting them around. As you can see, they're in control of the front, so can control the field. It's going to make it very difficult for anybody to kind of come up through. Obviously, you want to play, be in line. It's super early, so anything can happen. But right now, I just let those 4 drivers just kind of control the field, follow them around. Maybe if somebody starts feeling uncomfortable, they duck out down here, down the back stretch, usually they go by or down in the apron. But talk about the couple cars that got left behind, the 121 and the 39. So they're just kind of out of the draft, but it looks like they might be able to pick up the 76 of. Who is that? Joe Sullivan, that has a little bit of damage, so we'll see if he can tag along with the 121 of Josh Van Weston and Tyler Bramble. So that leaves too much time.
The distance that they're dropping, they're just dropping big time. And another one, where's back Casey Phelps, just getting in here, and he is 1 lap down in the back, but head back up to the front. One thing we didn't talk about, you can definitely do some updrafting here. You can push guys, and you can really get some good runs, but overheating. How much of a problem is the overheating going to be here tonight? See everybody all tucked in together. You're looking at that 2nd, 3rd, 4th car in line. You're not getting that much, air to your front end there and into the engine to keep it cool. So you kind of need to leave a little bit of a gap, and every once in a while you see the guys maybe just kind of poke their nose out there, especially on the backstretch, just get a little breath of air to that front end.
Yeah, it takes some talented drivers to be a good pusher, and know when to stick the nose up underneath the guy in front of them and push him around and keep an eye on your water. I mean, that temperature starts going up, you just have to stick a part of your nose out and get some air direct, and those engines are going to cool down fairly quickly. So it doesn't take too much, but there's some jockeying around back there. So as these guys just continue to race here, we are on lap 11 of 55. So 44 more laps to go here, and right now it's Elwood out front, Niiko Garcia, Shayne Therrien, AJ Roderick, and Luis Arduino for your top 5, and Jack Stoneman, Jeremy Gainey, Matt Crockett, Craig Janczak, and Eric Andrews for your top 10.
Yeah, and really, I mean, racing here at these blade tracks, it's almost kind of like other sports where there's positions. It's unlike baseball. You don't have a shortstop or first base, anything like that. But you have guys that prefer certain positions. You have guys that prefer being the one getting pushed. You have other ones that prefer being the pusher. Another one likes just kind of hanging behind those two guys, like you see the 73 right there of Luis Arduino. He may just be happy and content riding right behind the 5 and the 1 right now. And you got guys that prefer the inside line. You got ones that prefer the outside line. So, I mean, again, right now, still plenty early in the race. You need to get in the position that you want to be in, but you got another 30 laps to go for that. You got another pit stop, at least one. I mean, with this early stop here on lap number 3, I mean, everybody came in there, got some gas in that car, but I'm still wondering if this thing goes green, we may end up seeing 2 pit stops left in this thing, or we could see some guys maybe try to stretch it out here and just hanging back there and save a little bit of fuel.
Yeah, that would be the guys not wanting to be in the front. You do burn more fuel at the front, but the car's doing most of the work. Obviously getting a little push from the teammate, partner, whoever that may be behind him, but it's not saving them any fuel. It's usually the driver behind them, because kind of like, you're able to lift and let that draft, put the car in front of you, just go pull around the track using 80% throttle, vice 100% like those front drivers. So, it really pays up there. We got teammates up front using the same fuel strategy. So, if one comes in, they'll all come in. They won't be stuck out there. So, but we'll see how things kind of roll out as the field or the race goes on. They are coming up on lap traffic here. The 17 of Casey Phelps. Obviously, you can tell how much slower just one car is. As you guys didn't take too much time to get around the track to catch up to him. So he's holding on for dear life. And the next up will be Joe Sullivan with that damaged car and looking to go inevitably down a lap here as long as we stay green.
I mean, you take a look at the dashboard there, Phelps up to 176, and you go back to Elwood at 189, so almost, I mean, just a huge margin between the speed difference here, and this is where it gets a little tricky, because you have to be aware as a lap car, and you see Phelps going to take the high line here. Luckily, everybody is 2 wide, 2x2 here, so just gotta just sneak along by on that inside, and then Phelps going to try and grab onto the back of this pack here and just kind of hang in there. Hopefully, a caution comes out for him that he can get one of those laps back as lucky dog. But a good job there. I mean, it's not easy when you're coming up on a lone lap car. It's hard to be the lap car. It's hard to be those guys past that lap car. It's a tricky situation when you're coming. I mean, again, they're going 15 miles an hour faster than him. It doesn't seem like much, but man, it feels like that car's sitting still.
It's not like going down the street on a Sunday and you roll up on a going not even the speed limit and you're a little frustrated. So it's really a dance that they have here at these high speeds, and they executed that pass, pretty much the way you want to go. They're going to have to do it again here with Joe Sullivan, as he's a little bit damaged, so not able to keep up with a couple partners that he had there for a little while. So he's going to end up throwing a lap down here as long as we keep green. But again, that's going to be another test for these drivers to maintain 2 wide. And you see Joe just kind of going down to the inside, let him go by. There's no problems at all, way out of the way. So they made that pass super, super simple. But Alan Elwood up front with Shayne Therrien on that outside will SWM conquer here tonight as they pretty much got the field under control.
So Jimmy, you're trying to say that when I'm behind those tractor trailers or those dump trucks on the back roads, I just need a drafting partner that I can get on fast.
Yeah, you can,
just a little bump draft. Yeah.
I mean, or just tuck up right behind them, save yourself from fuel. You know how expensive fuel is these days.
I hear you, absolutely.
Yeah. I don't know about you, but I'm not switching to electric anytime soon. So
not at all.
I mean, I get big enough electric bills. You know, my big house. I don't need to add a car into that mix. So. But these drivers here are doing what they can to save fuel. They got themselves a partner and they're drafting around here, doing pretty good so far. I see a little bit of dancing back and forth, and it doesn't take much. You know, I mean, the whole almost a half a car width is nothing but a degree of turn in your wheels. So it doesn't take much to get offline or get off track. So. These drivers are doing a pretty good job right now. They've gotten by a couple of lap cars so far, so they're going to be coming up again.
Well, I think the 3 cars that we need to keep an eye on are the 3 cars that stayed out. And it's only 4 laps difference in fuel, but they are going to have to come in before everybody else. I would see that they're going to be able to stretch it out and find their way back on the strategy of everybody else. So Luis Orduna is still out there in the top 5. Jeremy Gainey right behind him, so maybe they got a little tandem or teamwork going on here for when they're going to come into the pits. And then the other one, Joe Sullivan back here a little bit in 12th, but still on that inside line. And at least for them, they're on that preferred pitting line for sure. I mean, you definitely don't want to be on that outside line going into turn number 3 knowing that you have to pit.
Nope. I have a tendency to favor the inside line here. I know that I have enough fuel to go the whole way, then I'll run. Usually I tend to follow the yellow line. It's just another point of reference. That's not going to destroy the car unless you go below it. So, and even then you might be able to survive it. But if you're on that outside trying to use the wall for a guide, you're not quite used to the width of the car. You know, it could be a fate or, a bad juju. So we'll see how these guys do. It's looking good so far. We are on lap 20 of 55. This thing is winding down fairly quickly here.
Let's take a run through our order right now, just to show you each of the cars out here on the track and the beautiful work that they have done to their cars as well.
That's gonna be good.
And a good job by these drivers as well. Just the fact that they've kind of gotten in a bit of a groove here, and we now have roughly 16 laps under green flag conditions. But coming up on another lap car here momentarily, and this time it looks like it is that the 76 again, the way it looks?
Yeah, 76. Looking at chat, looks like just from somebody else out there, I guess maybe it's mechanics, saying they got about 4 minutes of damage on that 76 from that last incident.
And that is plenty enough to put it as far off pace as they are right now. And you see right here, just this little tandem, they have lost the initial draft, but they're hanging in there enough that it's going to be a while until they get caught to be lapped. So it's a good job by them to just stick together, even though they lost the main draft. Just stick together. You never know if a caution comes out or something comes out to get you back in the mix. But here we go again at the front of the field. The leader is coming up on your lap car. Joe Sullivan stays high and even brushing the wall a little bit to try and stay as high as possible.
Yeah, it's a tough spot to be. The last time he was down on the inside and was able to let the whole field go by. And this time here, it looks like was left on the car. Maybe when he came in and got that repaired, but the damage is done already. Now it's crowd control and staying out of trouble and possibly being able to get back on that lead lap. It's going to take some work from Joe Sullivan. So
well, we've got pit stops here, and see all the Elwood Designs crew coming in together. A lot of tires locking up there. We'll see if anybody gets a penalty out of that one. But Elwood, Therrien, Garcia, Roderick, Orduna, and Gainey all coming in. So we're doing it, and Gainey, we're able to stretch it out enough to pit with these leaders here. It's going to hand over the lead right now to Matt Crockett in the 10. Eric Andrews, Kaleb Collins, Kevin West, and Kevin Foster for the top 5, but I would be surprised if we see another little group come in here this time by.
Yeah, it's just who are your friends and who's talking, who's together. I see Kevin Foster there kind of on the outside there of Eric Andrews trying to work his way up towards the front, but definitely in a hard spot there. You got a few more takers, 3 more cars coming down over the pit lanes.
Janczak and Reiner, teammates, are coming in here, and looks like Joe Thomas is going to join them. So all 3 of the cars that stayed out on that initial pit stop did make it and can at least pit with others. Then Joe Thomas is going to have to hustle to make sure he keeps up with Janczak and Reiner on the exit of pit lane. But out front, it looks like we got 10 cars that have yet to come down into pit lane here at the front of the field. And you got a couple of the lap cars mixed in here as well. Joe Sullivan, Casey Phelps towards the back of this field. We'll see who decides to come in at this lap, and it's kind of interesting. Like I said, I mean, how this thing is going to play off. You're going to have this pit stop here, but I'm wondering if you can make it from there. I think it's going to be really tight. I don't know. I don't know if you can do it. I mean, you see these guys, the ones that stayed out there on for 4 laps, you're looking at 16 to 19 maybe on fuel.
Yeah.
I mean, right now these guys are actually closer to 20. So you can make it about 20, but you're still looking at 31 laps to go at this point.
Yeah, I don't know if anybody's going to be able to go the distance. I'm sure there's someone there fuel saving and trying to make it so they don't have to come in as soon as others, but it does look like another pit stop is in the works, and if not, then somebody that come in here will be looking. But yeah, another swarm of drivers, looks like 5 coming in, as Andrews, Collins, Weston, Stoneman, and Wiles all coming in. That's
going to leave just 5 lead lap cars here at the front. Kevin Foster, Matt Crockett, Dave Tilford, your top 3 right now. You got Joe Sullivan right here in the mix. Now, if you're Sullivan here, you would love to get out in front of this field, just in case one of these last couple of cars that comes into the pits causes a yellow. So then, not only are you getting the wave around, but you're maybe getting a lucky dog too. But it looks like Kenny Hines now a lap down after coming into the pits. That's kind of what's on the line here for Joe Sullivan to get that free wave around and get one of those laps back. And here comes some more of the field down into the pits, and it looks like this should complete the pit cycle, as we got some guys out in the grass. That is not good right there, and would not be surprised if that is pit road penalties. Looks like Eric Andrews still in the pits. He is serving a penalty, and now is just going to be coming back out, but he is going to be out there on his own. Casey Phelps possibly having a penalty as well, unless I think that was just getting some repairs done. But right now, Eric Andrews is the only one that we've seen with a penalty now coming out here and just all alone.
Yeah, so you see, your first group of guys coming around right now as they head down the front stretch here, looking to get by whoever is in the pits.
We do have some more penalties here as you see the leaders going by. Kelly Pointer with a penalty, Dan Phelps with a penalty, and Dave Tilford with a penalty. So obviously Phelps and Tilford, playoff drivers in their respective divisions. This is not going to be good. In the lead is the second group that came into the pits, and that is Janczak and Reiner. Right behind them is the other kind of main team that we've seen all season. That is the Elwood Designs team of Therrien, Roderick, Garcia, and Elwood. And then a decent little gap back to 7th place in Kevin West. You got Kaleb Collins, Jack Stoneman, and Matt Crockett rounding out your top 10.
Yeah, so now's when the drivers should be working together, especially if they're behind this lead group, and need to try to put something together to get back up front, or hopefully a caution will come out for them. I mean, I'm sure we're all wondering about that as well, but if we get these leaders just go by Dave Tilford, so he's going to go a lap down. It's a tough break there for Tilford, Poirier, Sullivan, and everybody else that's kind of struggling back there just a little bit. But I think we're going to see maybe a little bit of battle in here by the Elwood team there as they, trying to maybe make it back to the front. And they got a good mix of people up there, so they're not like all kind of split apart here. I mean, we got some other groups, but still to have a group of 8 people, still have a chance to, take this thing away, and, anything can happen. A caution can come out, they come up on a lap car, they don't make it around them cleanly. I mean, there's all kinds of things that can happen here, so I think one more pit stop will be in play here, Paul.
Well, and you see what happened on this last pit stop. We've seen 3 or 4 different drivers getting penalties. It can happen that quick. You can basically go from what looks like a good top 10 run with a chance at the win to, well, now you're back there a lap down. I mean, Dan Phelps is in the playoffs here for the bronze division, but he is now 21st, 1 lap down. Dave Tilford came in for the silver division in the playoffs. He is now 1 lap down in 22nd. Those two need to get together and try and figure out a way to just kind of hang in there, but in the same case that they're also going to want to battle each other to try and get that lucky dog position. So this is a rough situation to be in. The driver's going to be coming up here pretty soon on the next little group here of Bramble, Van Westen, Crain, Hines, and Andrews, who are all at the back end of the lead lap. So they're going to be fighting pretty hard. They got enough of a group that they're not just going to be passed easily.
No, they should be able to, as long as those drivers in front of them are, they're tucked in the time, they're behind one another and getting the best run they can. They should be able to fare well, and they don't have to move out of the way. Obviously, they're trying to stay on the lead lap, and they do have speed and being hooked together like that. So they have that going for them. Worst comes to worst, they'll be able to connect onto this group here pretty easily, but they don't want to be fighting, that's for sure. But they are kind of not organized.
They're wrestling a little bit up here, for sure.
I switched over to them. I was watching Bramble run down the apron a little bit, and so definitely they're not organized, which is going to allow the field behind them to catch them. So they should be tucked in with one another in a single file and just hauling just to stay on, trying to stay on the lead lap, and hopefully be able to maintain pace to keep it that way. But they're losing ground fairly quickly, so it won't be too much longer before Janczak and the gang follow them around. And I know it's hard, when you're back there and you want to go faster and you got all this draft, but it's best just to kind of stay single file, nose to tail, and try to get that airflow going and just work as a team as much as maybe you don't want to, and try to stay in front of those leaders so you don't go a lap down. So some pretty talented drivers there, some people fighting for championships, so they want to try to get the best finish possible, and they're going to need to stay in front of those leaders that at least catch them. But they are too wide, but there's a lot of them, so that pack that's kind of coming as they got a little more momentum than the 5 that now just recently, maybe they heard me to become organized. Yeah, somebody might be listening. Like, hey, get in line. Yeah, maybe it's a little too late, but they should have been doing this a long time ago, as these leaders are coming up on, and probably now sniffing the draft of that group, and they're just gonna suck them up to them, and they're gonna work their way by. So it's not gonna be easy though. So
you see, not too long ago, when the field caught and passed Tilford and Phelps there, and they were going pretty slow on the outside, but they got together and they grabbed Kelly Corner there as well, and they reeled this lead pack in to at least get to the back of it and have a chance to still be in the lucky dog position. But now here comes the leaders. They go on the outside here of the back of the pack. Janczak leading the way, Reiner in second, Therrien right there in third. Kind of got 2 lines here. The guys that are getting lapped there on the inside, but again, they're not just going to give up easy now. Here comes Therrien to the inside, trying to break up this little tandem at the front. Janczak throws it down to the inside, and man, Reiner trying to get a little side draft there as well. It's starting to get racy here. We still got plenty of racing to go, though. We still got another 21 laps to go at the line and another pit stop here, so just Easy, boys. Easy.
Definitely they passed another few drivers, putting some laps down. Only 15 drivers in the lead lap now. Right now, Jon Crain is Bramble, be a lucky dog, as long as he's not tied up with anything. But right behind him, you have Eric Andrews, Tyler Bramble, Josh Van Westen, obviously. Then you have some of those people that run a lap down, but they're at the back of the lead, so now they can see, try to get in front of Jon Crain, because that's where they need to go. So, there's some drivers in the back of this pack that need to get to the front to get around the number 11.
Well, the number 11 looks like he's got his eyes set on the front of this pack. He's right there behind Shayne Therrien right now, pushing him to the front. And we've got 20 laps left to go here at Daytona. A nice run here for all the drivers out here ever since the wreck on lap number 3 here. They kind of set off here and really kind of mixed things up. But it's been a good run since then. Obviously, the first pit stop really shook up the field, and you see half the field now, 1 lap down. We had 3 or 4 drivers get caught with pit road penalties, and that's just an absolute killer no matter where you go. But none worse than here at Daytona, Talladega, where you just lose the draft, you lose your friends, and you lose hope. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. You're just, only chance you got is a caution, but it's been lean and green since lap number 5 when we went back green here. It is Reiner now at the front, battling with his teammate Greg Janczak, AJ Roderick, Shayne Therrien, Kevin West for your top 5. Kaleb Collins, Jack Stoneman, Niiko Garcia, Alan Elwood, and Kevin Foster making up your top 10. So we got a chance here, and everybody is for the most part playing nice here. Let's go ahead and jump on board with some of them and crank these cars up a little. Love to hear it. Sights and sounds here of the CORE Xfinity Series at Daytona as we're coming down to the last and final laps, and some bad drone views there for sure. But we still got a few that need to come into the pits. They're still hanging out there. Kevin West still out there, last pit on lap 25, as did the man right behind him, Kaleb Collins, the one leading the pack that has come in for his final pit stop and back out here. Well, it's all three of these guys right here. Jack Stoneman, Bryce Reiner, Craig Janczak, all in and out of the pits ahead of everybody else. Trying to see, it looks like we lost a few here, but I don't see any other pit road penalties for these stops just yet, but we're still waiting to see when the 92 and the 72 elect to come in. They're certainly shaking things up here quite a bit, and we're waiting for them to come in here to kind of finish out the pit cycle here, figure out where everybody is. Still hanging out there, still running very close, almost 3 wide there at the front, and
There it is.
we got some bumping and banging on the front stretch and still have it. And that's going to bring out a caution. What a play for West and Collins at the front. They are going to get away with it if they can make it back on fuel. I mean, they better be clutching in right here because it's got to be getting pretty close.
Yeah, they're pretty close. It looks like Dave Tilford's going to be that lucky dog, so hopefully he has enough fuel as well. So these guys will quite some time and definitely can make it the rest of the way. And unfortunately, I need to catch flight over to Michigan and fire up the boot for our boys at the Ultimate Conquest Racing League, as they are narrowing down with only 3 races remaining in their season as well. So I wish the drivers the best of luck, and I'll be watching over my shoulder here to see how this thing ends.
Absolutely. Just bring up CRN on YouTube on the flight over there, and you can enjoy it on the way there. But yeah, I'll certainly be joining you over there as soon as this one completes, and hopefully everyone tuning in here tonight is going to do the same as they put on some good shows over there. I mean, me and Jimmy have said it numerous times. Michigan, beautiful, absolutely beautiful track. Love me some Turnell, the shaped ovals for sure. But this thing is getting close to being over, but it's far from over. There's a lot that's going to come into play here, and we'll see if these drivers here can make it around and get to pit lane, I think is really the question. As Dave Tilford, I think he made it through this thing. We'll take a look at the caution here in a second, but I believe he made it through this thing. He should be the lucky dog, and that would be a huge break. He was one of those guys that got stuck with a pit road penalty, and Eric Andrews was right behind him, but unfortunately Tilford was ahead when the caution came out, so he would be the lucky dog, I believe. That's what it's looking like right now, but he's kind of stuck here because he's got to try and make it around another lap, and hopefully he's got enough fuel to do so, as he's going to stay out there. And
Clutch in, I'll be riding that apron, I've been doing everything.
yeah, there we go. Now he finally gets the wave around, and yeah, I think he's got to get up to speed and then just throw that clutch in for sure. But man, what a turn of events for the top 2 guys here. And now granted, you know, it's not too big of a deal because a lot of these drivers can just stay out there, get the wave around. They're not really losing anything particular. You know, these guys are just going to come in. I mean, they have the option to take tires here, and tires aren't going to mean too much for them. But man, they're back in a really good position here. Looks like Stoneman, Reiner, Janczak are going to stay out there, and they should be your first, second, and third drivers. Quite a few that are going to get the wave around here. Looks like Foster, Wiles, Van Westen, and Gainey all staying out there, and they're going to get the wave around here. This thing got interesting, as Daytona does, and it's still a long way to go. It's still 8 laps to go right now in the race, and looking like we'll probably be about 6 laps to go to finish this thing once we take it back under green. But who you got? This has been a bit of a fun one here tonight, and still a lot of moving and shaking that left to go here tonight. So who do you think's going to bring this thing home tonight? Does Janczak have it in him to go back-to-back here and really kind of steal a win from others, since he's already got that win under his belt? If he gets another win here, it's just, you know, one more that somebody else can't get to get their way through there. But we got Jack Stoneman right now, Silver Division driver leading the way. Kaleb Collins up there. He is a Silver Division playoff driver, and he's in the mix for a win up there in 4th place. Kevin West could be the spoiler in 5th place. Not in the playoffs. He is a rookie driver, but he's been up towards the front for at least amount here tonight. Currently in 5th position, so there's a lot at stake here, a lot to play for at Daytona, and this season has been fun. I absolutely enjoyed it, and we took a break from the 10 race seasons and did a little playoff format here, longer season. I know a lot of the drivers enjoyed it. We'll see what 2025 brings and what these drivers are looking to do here once we get the voting in. But the drivers at the front there are going to get their wave rounds. We're going to double this thing back up, and we are going to have 6 laps to go once this thing gets green. From the top 10, you got Jack Stoneman, Bryce Reiner, Rick Janczak, Kaleb Collins, and Kevin West for your top 5, and Niiko Garcia, Shayne Therrien, AJ Roderick, or Alan Elwood, AJ Roderick, and Dave Tilford are going to round out your top 10. We're going to be back to 14 drivers on the lead lap as the rest of the field are going to catch back up. You see them coming through the travel right now. They'll catch the back of the pack here before we get back going, but still, Daytona, we still got everybody in the race, and actually just realized now we didn't see what actually happened and what transpired on that wreck. So we'll take a second and back at that one and listen just disappear on SDK, which doesn't make any sense. Take a look at it here real quick. You see already developing here. Add to the front of the field. 8 and 60 get together. The 39 and 11 get together. It looks like the 8 and 60 get through that thing, but the 11 of Crain gets sent into the grass. And when he comes back up there, gets into Van Weston, and Crockett gets involved as well. Pitch back live here as we are ready to get back to racing. A bit of a jumbled start there, but we're going to be green nonetheless. And it is Jack Stoneman at the front leading the way as looks like the 121 of Van West, unfortunately not getting caught back up to the field before the start of the race. And I believe that is Casey Phelps still in pit lane, just coming out right now, but he is 3 laps down currently. At the front, it is Jack Stoneman trying to get this thing done, trying to lock himself into playoffs, I believe. Actually, we need to double check that and make sure, because again, a win does get you in, but you need to have perfect contention to be at all 4 races for the playoff round. As Elwood peeling off, and he is coming into the pits. Is that a penalty for the 5? Possibly a drive-through penalty. That is a really, really hurt piece right there. If that is the case, trying to see anything, but that Elwood is indeed in pit lane. Not sure what exactly happened here, but he is going to lose a ton of positions. And I mean, he had a nice little buffer coming into today, and this could end up being, you know, one of his drop races. But man, what could have been here, and he could have been in the mix for a win. But now we got Stoneman at the front, but working around on the outside, another Silver driver pushing Reiner to the front. Kaleb Collins trying to get his win as well, and now looks like we may be looking 3 wide, and Collins is going to be in the middle, and that's not exactly a bad position. It's scary, it's sketchy, but I prefer that middle line. You get double the side draft. You get the side draft off the inside car and the outside car, and that lane can go very fast if you know how to work it. But it looks like he's got a little help there in front by the 90 of Reiner, as they're going to get to the front of this pack. The 9 of Eric Andrews not in the mix here, and getting very close to the 1 car dance around on him a little bit. He is one of the cars that is a lap down and currently in the lucky dog position, so he's trying to get up there and be in the lucky dog and try and get his lap back and still get in the mix of this if there's a yellow. But at the front, 3 laps to go. Reiner leads the way. Second place is the one. Bit of a bump there. Got the 90 sideways, but a good save. That was Niiko Collins getting into the back. It's starting to get a little bit tighter. You see those side drafts getting a little closer. Those bump traps getting a little bit more frequent. But down on the inside in front, it is the 90 of Reiner. And he is also not a playoff driver, trying to be a little spoiler here. He was the one that just missed out on the playoffs in the gold division. And a bit of a bobble there from the 72. What a save. Still saving it, and now not saving it. The 72 sent to the inside, but it's off track. It's not going to be a yellow. We're going to keep it green. 2 laps to go. And now I'm not sure what's happening towards the back there. I've seen some parts flying up there. I don't see any kind of caution. But that was certainly strange, but it looks like Kenny Hines may have crashed and jumped into the pits. Not sure what happened there. But out front, it is Niiko Garcia, Shayne Therrien, AJ Roderick, Jack Stoneman, and Bryce Reiner for the top 5. Greg Janczak right there in 6th place in the mix. And certainly fan favorite, making his way up here. That is the 8 of Kevin Foster. It's a 9. Oh, gets into the wall and now into the 92. Possibly another caution. No, the West goes through pit lane here. We've got the white flag out in the air. We need to decide who's going to win this thing one way or another. Niiko Garcia on the inside, AJ Roderick on the outside. Will there be any kind of team play here to get Niiko Garcia the win and get him a good shot at making it through to the championship? As long as if he gets the win, he just needs to show up every week to get his way on through there. But man, both lanes are bobbling. Here comes the 90, looking to the middle, getting pinched, and that is going to wreck a few more cars. Niiko Garcia going to get through this thing, and unless Stoneman gets a heck of a run off of turn 4, which he won't, Niiko Garcia going to be your winner here tonight at Daytona. Stoneman in 2nd, Reiner in 3rd, Foster in 4th. Therrien is going to limp it home. He's going to get home in 5th place. You got Janczak, Tilford are going to finish. They're going to get it across the line here in 7th. Looks like 8th place is going to be Kaleb Collins. 9th place, Jeremy Gainey is going to get it across, and then it looks like possibly Daniel Wiles is going to get credited with 10th place, but that was a pretty scary exchange there coming out of the final corners. It's like Reiner giving a congratulations little bump there to the back of the 1. Niiko Garcia getting it done here tonight. And he's certainly going to be happy about that. Still need to find out what happened to his teammate Alan Elwood, as we've seen him have to come in through the pits. Elwood finishing back in 16th. But it is Niiko Garcia getting the win here tonight. Big win here for the 1. And he's going to burn it down here on the front stretch. Deserved for sure for Niiko Garcia. Winner earlier this season at Kentucky. This is his 2nd win now on the season. Could come at a better time here in the playoffs. Take a look at the final race results for tonight, and it's going to be Niiko Garcia, your winner, Jack Stoneman, Bryce Reiner, Kevin Foster, Shayne Therrien for your top 5, Greg Janczak, Dave Tilford, Kaleb Collins, Jeremy Gainey, and AJ Roderick for the top 10. Running at the rest of the field, it is Daniel Wiles, Eric Andrews, Jon Crain, Joe Sullivan, Alan Elwood, Joe Thomas, Dan Phelps, Kelly Pointer, Kevin West, Luis Arduna for the top 20, and then Josh Van Westen, Tyler Bramble, Kenny Hines, Matt Crockett, and Casey Phelps for your 25 car field. We'll see if we can get these three drivers in here for a quick interview. If they are ready, we'll get to them. If not, I'm going to have to jump over and join Jimmy for the UCRL start. But in the meantime, if you guys haven't done so, hit that like and subscribe. Get you in touch with everything that CRN has to offer. This was a fun one here tonight for sure, and certainly going to be some guys scratching their heads and maybe some a little bit of tempers after this one. It's Daytona. It's just like short tracks. Sometimes these big tracks can cause a little bit of conflict amongst the garage as well. But let's go ahead and bring in our top three here tonight, and I'm gonna go ahead and start with, unfortunately, not Tyler Bramble. We're gonna start with Bryce Reiner here, and third place is the 90 of Bryce Reiner. And Bryce, heck of a run here tonight. It looked like it was kind of two teams kind of go back and forth at each other. It was you and Janczak out there, and then the Elwood Designs teams, and you had a move there. You poked your nose in there in turns 3 and 4. Looked like there was enough room there to go 3 wide, but all of a sudden the doors kind of closed on you coming through the final corner. But I mean, Daytona, how crazy is it out here?
Pretty crazy. Yeah, no, battle pretty much between two teams, pretty much all throughout the race. And we got lucky enough to pit when that caution came out, when Craig got damaged and I got damaged. Luckily, I didn't use the fast repair, but we added fuel, so we took less throughout both pit stops. So that's how we were able to gain so much time on them throughout the cycles. It was good. And yeah, the race was great. Great battles throughout the field. Started 20th, which was beyond me. I don't know what happened, but luckily, yeah, I started in the back, but sooner or later, A-laps, ran and I get hooked. So, it is what it is, but all in all, it was pretty good, I guess.
I mean, you come home in third. Anytime you can survive Daytona is good. When you get a podium, it's even better. Of course, you'd love to be up there and get the win here, but it was a good race overall. I mean, the early caution there on lap 4 certainly took a good chunk of the field out, or at least forced them to make their fast repairs early. Yeah. But then a good, nice little run there, and you got some green flag pit stops. Yeah. But how stressful is it coming in here for pit stops? Whether you have just one other teammate or whether you're coming in with 10 other guys. Just how much are you looking to hit your marks, but also looking in the mirror to make sure nobody's marking your back bumper?
Stressful, very. I don't know if you guys seen our pit stops that me and Craig took. I think it was pretty much just us two that went in on that first pit stop. But I smoked it. I flew in there, missed my mark because I was just trying to get below Craig, so I didn't hit him. And I got right on the dot. Smoked the tires. They felt awful afterwards, but it was good. Then we had some time on them, so yeah, it's very stressful. Luckily, I had no one behind me the first time. The second time, I think it was me, Craig, and Jack that went in together, and we all kind of talked with each other and made sure who's going low, who's going middle, who's going high. So none of that happens. But then we ran it, and then caution came out, and the rest is history, really.
Well, it worked out here. Was certainly probably a little stressful on that final lap as well, but you made it through. You get home in third place here tonight, so congrats on the podium. What do you want to give a shout out to or thanks to?
Yeah, thank you. I'll take P3. Dega was Dega was P2. I'll take a P3 tonight. Really wanted that win, but Niiko made a great move on me. Couldn't block up 2 lanes at once, so made the right choice and got thrown 3 wide in the middle, and then somehow got right back up in there, tried to finish it off. But congrats to Niiko. Thanks to Martin PC, Digital Sim Sports, Team Conti, Sim Performance, everybody who makes this league possible. You guys up in the booth, all the admins, David, everyone up there. And just want to quickly say my apologies to Alan. I know he is probably frustrated. I was trying to go along the lines of the pace car coming out. I didn't really read past the pace car because the pace car was already in front of me. So it said catch the pace car. So I just want to give my apologies to him. I know he's frustrated, so that for there. And then AJ, I don't know if it was my fault, his fault for squeezing me, but all in all, it was just hard racing. So again, congrats to Niiko. I'll take a P3 and we'll move on to Bristol.
All right, sounds good, buddy. Congrats again, and we'll see you next week at Bristol.
Sounds good. Thank you.
That's your third place finish here tonight, the 90 of Bryce Reiner. Second place is going to be it's showing the right car. Not sure why it's so far out there, but yeah, second place tonight is going to be the 25 of Jack Stoneman. And Jack, Daytona is stressful, as we as we just talked to Bryce Reiner about, but you get ever so close. You were up there, you had the lead, the win, and you're in here for the playoffs. You had it right there, and you had a chance, and unfortunately came up one spot short. I mean, it's got to feel good regardless. Coming up here and finishing in second, definitely a good points day for sure. Gets you right back up in the mix points wise, but how hard is it a pill to swallow for just coming up one spot short?
Honestly, I'm not really mad at all. This is probably the most fun I've had in a really long time. Did I want to get the win? Yeah, but hey, I'll tell you one thing though. Comparing what happened to this race at Daytona versus Talladega, this was a complete 9-day difference. I had a lot of fun doing side-by-side racing, not getting wrecked going into pit road and getting some kind of stupid black flag. Having a really cool pit strategy with Bryce and Craig. That was a lot of fun. And those last couple laps are going to be a little controversial for some drivers, I'll admit. Me getting into the rear end of Kaleb, but my message to him is don't hit the curb 3 times, and maybe you'll survive next time. So womp womp there. But yeah, no, overall, I had a great race. I'm perfectly fine with taking second place for it overall. So I just want to say thank you to UNOH eMotorsports, all the guys that work so hard here, bringing us up for what we need to do. Apologies to Kenny Hines for not having the greatest race, unfortunately, with some early damage. Didn't work out for him that well, but yeah, man, thank you to everybody in the booth here with Core Racing, all the admins that host this race and make it a great time for all of us.
So I mean, last week you go into the playoffs. You had the one win for the season, so you had a leg up on everybody in the silver division. But all of a sudden, that 5-point lead is the exact opposite. Now all of a sudden you're 5th place in the running for the silver division, 7 points down from the cut line. Was that weighing on the mind a little bit, or were you thinking, well, if that's my worst race and it's a drop race, so be it from last week and just kind of focus ahead here tonight?
Well, I'll tell you right now, Carl, the last time I got a super speedway race in general was back in 2017 when I first started doing iRacing. So it's been a second since I've gotten a win at Daytona or Talladega. So really, my goal was just to survive. My rule of thumb is if you want to win a race, first thing you got to do is just not get killed. So if I could have just finished anywhere in the top 5, I would have been perfectly okay with that. So I wasn't really too concerned about points whatsoever, mainly because you get that one drop race. So, I'm going to take Phoenix as that drop race. Hopefully I'll be all right for the next couple of races. And also because Phoenix in general is just not a good track for me. That's not, I was doing okay there with the top 10, but Daytona, I feel like I'm a pretty good super speedway driver. So I knew going into this race, I was pretty confident.
Well, it certainly should have been, and it showed here. You come home in second place tonight, so congratulations. I know you gave most of your shout-outs here, but you have any more you want to give before we let you go?
Only other shout-outs I want to give out to my dad, who's watching the stream right now. Hopefully he's happy with me being in P2. My girlfriend, who's right beside me right now, watching me and cheering me on. So, and again, once again, thank you to the core admins for giving us this entertainment, making my day a lot better.
Absolutely, buddy. Well, it was certainly fun to watch out there. Congrats on the second place. We'll see you next week at Bristol.
Thanks, Carl. See you then.
That is your second place finisher, the 25 of Jack Stoneman. Winner here tonight is going to be the one of Niiko Garcia. And Niiko, you come into tonight below the cut line by 17 points. So I guess the first question is, was that win on your mind? I mean, it was only 11th place last week. It was just outside the top 10, but you find yourself below the cut line, and you know you got some competition at the top of the gold division there to try and make it through to the championship. So, you know, was tonight you really had to go out there and finish with a good finish and maybe do what you did here tonight and come away with this win?
Yeah, I mean, crazy race. Crazy way that shook up there. You know, unfortunately with Alan and stuff not being up there with us, it was, you know, thankfully I had, you know, my two other teammates with me, and, you know, they're phenomenal. Did I see a win tonight? No, I'll be honest, Carl, I didn't think I was going to finish tonight. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know if I was going to make it to the checker tonight. I was just going to come out here and try to do my thing. But yeah, you know, I'll take a win. I needed a win tonight. You know, I think I hurt myself out of a few wins this season, just kind of, you know, self-inflicted, but no, yeah, I'll take the win for sure. 100%.
I mean, it's kind of crazy, like how tight and how tough this gold division is. I mean, there's so many talented drivers here at the top, and to get your second win on the season, I mean, it's got to feel good just in that case, but especially getting here in the playoffs.
Yeah, you got to come in every week and you have to win every week, because the guys that you're racing against in playoffs they're also, you know, up there racing to win. So you have to really be on your game. You know, you have to be focused up, and you know, that's where I've had a lot of trouble with that this season, just being focused and making sure I hit everything, hit all my marks, that sort of deal. But yeah, man, this gold division is no joke. Every time you look at the leaderboard, it's Craig Janczak, it's Alan Elwood, it's, you know, Shayne Therrien, it's Danny Wiles. Like it's stacked up here.
Well,
it's stacked for sure. So to get a win tonight, racing against, you know, the best of the best in the league, you know, it feels really good. I'm kind of itching to get some more for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy that the names you said there, and at least one of them is going to be left out of the playoff chances here coming to the end of the season for the last race. But yeah, providing you show up to the last two races here, you are locked in with this win here tonight. So, I mean, can you breathe easier? Does Bristol look a little less daunting coming next week?
Yeah, I'll be completely honest with you. I am not a fan of Bristol. So to get locked in before Bristol, so now next week I can just kind of ride around and, you know, just kind of relax, take a breather. It was kind of getting tense, you know. I had a bad showing last week, and that kind of pushed me down the leaderboard at Phoenix. So, you know, that water starts to boil underneath you, you know. You don't have a lot of time, and these guys, they finish up front every week. So, yeah, I can breathe now. You know, I know my teammates, you know, I know they're probably feeling the pressure too now, so I'm sure they're going to be getting after it next week. But, you know, they have it in them, you know, either one of them. So, yeah, we're going to look good. Hopefully it's two Elwood Design esports guys in there. That'd be fantastic. It'd be really fun to watch, you know, to try to catch Craig and go from there.
All right, buddy. Well, congrats on the win here tonight at Daytona. Before we let you go, you want to give a shout out to her? Thanks to.
Yeah, 100%. Big shout out, obviously, to EDE, Elwood Design Esports. You know, this whole team has been phenomenal from the start of the season. I can't thank these guys enough for what they do week in and week out. They're just a phenomenal group of guys. Big shout out to Simrat Market. Simrat Market, you know, go check those guys out, man. You know, we race in really good looking cars every single week, and, you know, it's because of them, it's because of Alan. So go check those guys out. Produced Auto Studio out in Clearwater, Florida. I want to give a big shout out to Paul out there. I put his, you know, logo on the car tonight just for some good luck, and he gave it to me. So big shout out there. And then big shout out to you, Carl, doing your thing like you do every week up here in the booth, man. You guys do a phenomenal job here. So thank you so much for that. I appreciate you guys.
Absolutely, buddy. Congrats on the win here again tonight. You can certainly sleep easier and breathe easier next weekend and the following week, but especially next week at Bristol, because I'm sure that's going to be it's the last great Coliseum for a reason. But you don't have to worry about battling too much next week. So congrats, and and we'll see you next week, buddy.
Awesome, Carl. Thanks, buddy. Have a good night.
You too. That's your winner here tonight. The one of Niiko Garcia, and getting the win when it's absolutely paramount here in the playoffs. And I mean, the fact that all you got to do is show up for the next two races, especially with the races that are coming up with, you know, obviously we mentioned Bristol coming up next week, and then the the playoff round finale at Homestead. You can just go in there, kind of let your hair down. Doesn't matter if you win. Doesn't matter if you come in 25th. It's really doesn't matter. He got his win and well deserved here tonight. So congrats again to the one of Niiko Garcia. I want to thank everybody out there once again for tuning in here tonight. If you haven't done so yet, hit that like and subscribe and get you in touch with everything that CRN has to offer. Certainly hop over if you would like to and catch the UCRL Gen 4 series as they are tackling at Michigan Speedway right now. I'm going to be joining Jimmy as well to broadcast that thing. So for myself and Jimmy here from Daytona, we'll see you at the track.